For our arms facing back series, we are usually pulling on the straps, doing some kind of pulling motion. So we're gonna get more posterior arm and upper back work versus facing front is more of that push and anterior chest work. For our kneeling arms back, which again, this can be done on the box in a seated position, seated in a low kneel. I'm just teaching the full kneel version today. We wanna have our knees up towards the shoulder blocks. There are some people who cue thighs all the way up against the shoulder blocks. I don't personally recommend that because I think it sometimes gives people a false sense of security and can lead to them losing their balance. So this is probably the one where people are most likely to fall as they're getting into position. So we want to be really conscientious of how we're cueing them getting here. So we grab onto our straps, slide the hands into the little loops, and push a little bit of tension into the straps. So I'm not like pushing them back all the way, just about halfway. And then I'm gonna very slowly rise my hips up, trying to keep the carriage still. Same thing as before, we zip up pubic bone to belly button, lengthen down through the lower back, glutes are active and pushing forward. This is almost like being in a bridge. From here, we can start to move the arms, but we want to cue people and let them know that if they move the carriage or the straps too quickly, they're most likely going to fall forward. So we just want to move slowly and conscientiously, keeping the control over the springs. Starting with our chest expansion exercise, we inhale, palms are facing back in the little loops. Inhale, press straight back, opening up through the chest, and hold the arms still. Hold the breath, look over the right shoulder, look over the left shoulder, bring the head back to center, and exhale, bringing the arms back forward. We can also teach the chest expansion arms without adding the breath in the head, which can be a nice way to kind of get people into it. And we want to make sure that people aren't pressing back so far that it's collapsing the shoulders or the chest forward, but instead keeping the chest nice and open, collarbones wide as we press back through the arms. Coming into our bicep curl next. Bicep curl with our arms in the straps is a little bit different than when you're doing it with weights. So usually with the weight, we kind of keep the upper arm glued to the side and just move the elbow. With these guys, we're gonna have the arms lifted up a little higher as we curl in and curl out. This is one that when we're doing in this kneeling position, we wanna make sure people are really lifted through cores, they're active. You can get a little bit of a lean back to help being in this position, but we've just got the upper arm nice and high and then folding the elbow in from there. For our rowing exercise, you want to take the straps, cross them over one another, and hold up at the nuts. From here, we're just gonna bring the elbows out wide, thumbs aiming for the top of your shoulder, and then lower back down. Again, chest and upper back nice and open, get a little squeeze of the shoulder blades and hold, and then release back to the front. Okay. For our archer, we can start to work in a little bit of thoracic rotation as well. So we're gonna have one single strap holding by the knot, and I've got the strap opposite of my arm. So there's a little bit of a crossover effect here. We bring the opposite arm out in front, sitting up nice and tall. We're gonna bend the elbow with the strap back as you twist the chest open. Hand is still facing directly forward, and then release back out of that rotation. So you can imagine your hand is pointing to where you want to shoot and aim, and then rotate back to center. So we're just coordinating that arm motion with the rotation.